Hello, welcome to 5 Minutes in the Shed. Right, so as you know, Project El Plates is finished, and finished bikes live on the floor. That's where it is, on the floor, because it's a finished bike. But no, it's not finished, right? Doesn't work. Let me spin the camera around and I'll show you why it doesn't work. Okay, so here it is, right? Here's the bike in all its glory. Tip top, engine starts, runs straight and everything like that. It's all good, right? However, I totally forgot something. And what it was that I forgot was this bad boy, the neutral switch, right? Oh, it isn't in focus on the camera. The neutral switch, normally closed when you're running the bike, not normally open. Right, so I have found the wire that it's supposed to go on, which is this one here. So I need to make that normally closed, not normally open. So I'm going to cut that with a harness and put a loop in it and short that out. I actually tested that by plugging the switch in, and when you put it in gear, it's fine, right? And you can, it doesn't stall. That's what was happening on the last video when I tried it. However, when it doesn't cut the engine and it's good to go, it still doesn't go, right? And the reason it doesn't go is because these new levers, right, too tight, right? There's no slack in the cable, so it was pulling on the clutch a little bit and slipping the clutch. So what I did was I made a bracket, right? So this little spacer here actually makes the inner cable for the clutch shorter, and the idea behind that was that it would give me more adjustment on the clutch and let it work. So I put that on, it did, and now I have got some slack on the cable, which is there. All right, it's not pulling it tight. However, still doesn't go. You put it in gear and it's just like you're slipping the clutch. So whoever stole this bike rode it like they stole it. Yeah, rode it like they stole it, and they've completely destroyed the clutch, right? There's nothing left of the clutch, which is quite disappointing, really. I don't know why the camera isn't focusing. Sorry about the blurredness. Yeah, so no clutch. So what we've got is here is a new clutch. Focus the camera. New clutch, new gasket, and it even comes with a bottle of engine oil as well. So, because obviously you have to let the oil out of it. So I said pretty early in this series that I was only going to do stuff that needed doing because, you know, I don't want to overdo things, right? And I didn't want to tear the engine apart because the engine was running fine. And it is running fine. And I didn't want to address all that scabbiness there because it means taking it all apart. And guess what? I'm taking it all apart. So, this episode, oh, and I also noticed as well, when I wired the headlamp up there, when you got it on dip beam, the high beam comes on. When you got it on high beam, the dip beam comes on. So the wires are right backwards in there too. So first job, I'm going to switch the wires around in there and short out the side stand switch. That's the first job. And I'm going to do that now. So that's quite a nice little job to do, because to have the headlamp running, excuse me, to have the headlamp running, you have to start the engine. So I've had to start the engine, so I'll warm the engine a little bit, which is warm the engine oil, which means I can now drain the oil out, so I can start taking the clutch apart. That's what I'm going to do now. I've got to tell you, this oil coming out of here now, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's like thick black treacle. I mean, this is 1040, right? This is 10W40, so it should be pretty slippy, watery stuff. And honestly, it is like treacle. And the smell coming off it, I just smelled it, and it smells like, imagine if you've had a barbecue and then you leave the barbecue out in the rain, and then the bottom of the barbecue pan that's all full of grease and stuff from the meat and the charcoal fills with water and then goes all slimy, and then you smell it. That's what it smells like. It smells like it's been on fire. So I mean, poor little thing's probably had the guts thrashed out of it. So I'm just having a look. No metal fragments coming out, so it's a pretty tough little engine. Yeah, there's no metallic particles in there. It's just very, very bad oil with obviously a lot of carbon in it. So needed to be done anyway. Actually, I've also bought somewhere, can't see it now, I bought an air filter because the air filter's all dirty as well. So it's having a full service at the same time. Oil's going to come out. I'm going to have to reset the camera up because the clutch is on the other side, obviously. So I'm going to pull the clutch off, and if I pull the clutch off, then obviously I've got to paint the casing and change the clutch mechanism itself, which is great. So yeah, a bit more work to do. All good stuff. Continuing with the theme of nothing's ever easy, so to take this, the clutch is inside here, right? Oil fillers there. On some models that would be a sight glass, but this isn't, it's just cast over. You have to take the kickstart off. The kickstart was seized on and is all rusty inside. That needs a bit of copper slip. I'm not sure whether the new foot pegs we put on have to come off to let this get past the clutch. I'm not sure. I think I might be able to bend it out a little bit, bend it back, because it's just a guard, it's just a heel guard. So I think we're okay on that. However, you do have to take the starter motor off, and to take the starter motor off you have to release the cable, big fat cable, which goes to the starter motor, which is here, and that bad boy is rusted solid, absolutely solid. And my screwdriver did slip once, and what I don't want to do is completely chew the head, so I have to drill it out, because that'd be a nightmare. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it for tonight. I'm going to let the oil drain out of the side while it's on the side stand, because even more oil's coming out, but it's coming out very slowly because it's very thick. So I'm going to let the oil drain out. I'm going to let that penetration fluid penetrate, and I'm going to come back to it tomorrow evening when it's not so late, because otherwise I'm going to get rage with it, have a fight with it, and I'm going to be very upset that I break something. So once again, corrosion has bitten us, but I think I'll leave it. I'll give it another spray before I lock the garage tonight, and we should be okay, and we'll see how it goes from there. So I think I'll keep this on one episode, so I'll pause it here. And by the magic of television, we'll be here again, this time tomorrow. Okay, by the magic of television, we are back in the shed. Had a bit of a fight with that starter motor. Let me show you. Right then, wobbly handy cam. So here's the terminal here. So we'll get onto it there, which I think is copper. And then you've got the terminal on the starter motor itself here, which I think is like galvanized steel or something, but it was absolutely seized solid, like properly. So that's been drilled out, so it's got a 5mm hole in it now, so it's going to get a 5mm nut and bolt this time. I've got some stainless steel ones I'll put in. So next job, clutch. This is ready to come off now. It's loose, right, but it won't come past this like foot guard thing. Normally I would regard this as extra mass and I would have cut it off. However, it's supposed to be there, it's brand new. But I watched a video online, and the guy who was doing it just pulled it out of the way, bent it out of the way a little bit and then bent it back afterwards. It's only a bit of wire, so I'm going to try that. Right then, time to take the side off. Okay, there we go. Let me move the microphone over so you can hear what I'm saying. Right then, so this is the old clutch. These are the old clutch plates. They're black. I mean, like burnt to a crisp. They feel crispy. There's a tiny bit of meat left on them, but nowhere near as much as the new ones. So this is the order they came off. So I've got to put a friction plate in first, which is one of these, like that. Then, so that's junk. Then a metal plate, inner plate thing. These are like blue. They must have got it so hot. Alright, so middle plate. The reason motorbike clutches have loads of plates is because a car clutch is big, right? It's like a big thing, right? With big springs in it. Now motorbike, if it had a car clutch, would be like this big. Alright, so what they do is make it smaller, but then they put lots of plates in because that gives the same surface area. That's why motorbikes have multi-plate clutches. Ooh, yeah, bad. Friction plate. Metal plate. And some of them have a lot more plates than others, but this hasn't got many. It's only got 4, which is nice. Some people argue that you should oil them when you put them in, but to be honest, I don't think it makes a lot of difference. They soon get covered in oil. They're spinning round in a place that's very oily. Oh man, what's going on with that? Oh, so this plate is absolutely destroyed. Nothing on it at all. Interesting. That'll be the one that was letting go then. Interesting that one plate should get more hammer than the others. Let's put a bit of scoring on the on this one as well. I think it'll be okay with the new friction plate on. So, oh, and that one is mullered as well. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so new clutch is fitted. When it goes in the oil, new clutch is fitted. Clutch pressure plate here. That looks in pretty good nick. So the pressure plate goes on there. Do a gross adjustment on the spring thing in a minute. But that goes in there, and then we've got 4 springs which go on there, and that's the spring tension for the clutch. Nice. So I've got the other 3 in there. So I'm going to have the clutch all back on in a second. That's great. However, I wasn't going to tear the engine down because because oil, engine, horrible. And if you do, then you need to change the gasket. Here's the gasket. So actually, I mean, that's come off in one piece. I could have probably got away with that, but I bought a new gasket anyway. So I wasn't going to do anything with the engine at all, but oh, look at that! Just noticed. Right, screwdriver. This is burnt clutch in the bottom of the oil thing. Oh man, it was bad, and it smells terrible. So I'm going to give that a really good clean out because it's absolutely filthy. While it's off, check the seals and everything. They all look pretty good, to be honest. But on the outside, it's all corroded, and now I've got it off. Now it's in my hand. I've got to do something about it, haven't I? So I'm going to hit that with some Scotch-Brite wheels, clean it up best I can, give it a bit of silver paint before it goes back on. Just because I can't leave it. So yeah, next job, screw the clutch on, make sure that's right, clean all this and paint it. Right, so the video's got a bit jumbled, however I have got a montage of photos to show you the completed project and a video of him riding away on his completed motorcycle. Have fun, thanks for watching. Go on then.
Ready?
So, unfortunately, he got about 2 miles and it broke down. He's been back, we fixed it. It was just a loose terminal on the negative of the battery, so it was cutting out when he revved it up to like 3,000 RPM. Anyway, all fixed now, so here's a video of him going again. Thanks for watching.
Next week.
Okay.
Wednesday, yeah?
Well, no, whenever. We'll see.
I'll come Wednesday because it's probably the best day for me.
Go on then.